Welcome back to the Blue Chip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Brock Bowers. I know that there are several of y'all that are wondering and asking questions like, how are we going to be able to stop Brock? I don't think that he's, all that great. He is a good tight end, but, I've come out and said it, previously that I think that he is just a good tight end. He's not really a game changer. He doesn't really do a lot of special things. We're going to take a look at his film, and I'm going to break down to you why we really shouldn't be overly concerned about Brock. It's more about the way that this football team plays and reading our keys. But before we get into that, I did want to just kind of, make a transition between that game on Saturday and this week. I know that there are a lot of us that are still really down about last week. Let me just tell y'all this, man. That's the worst football game that any team has played at Tennessee up under Coach Heupel, period. A lot of people talking about that South Carolina game last season. I felt like this one was worse. We just did not play well at all. Our defense, guys, we just had linebackers pretty much is what lost us that game. Our linebackers played absolutely horrible. They wasn't really getting physically outmatched. They just didn't play well, period. They just played horrible. And then we had several busts. P and I kind of talked about this before, but, I want to make that transition just to give you guys some more hope and understand that this is not a game that we're going into this week that we have no chance in, okay? This team, whenever we're playing, to the standard that we're capable of, we can play with anybody in this entire country, all right? Now, the offensive line did get, I feel like they just kind of got whipped in that game. So that is cause for concern. We're going to have to get some things cleaned up for sure. I didn't really like what the play calling was. Again, I just think that it was a bad overall game for everybody, on that team, coaches also. And, a lot of y'all keep on calling for Joe Milton. Guys, look, I completely and totally get it, right? So, you can feel how you want to feel, but just don't bring that to this channel because Joe Milton played better than anybody else. And I'm just going to call it like it is, right? If Milton plays bad, I'm going to say, hey, Milton played terrible. But he really probably was our best player throughout the entire game if you take out Jackson Ross, which to me doesn't necessarily count. I'm talking about on offense and defense. Joe Milton was by far our most consistent player. He was the MVP, in a terrible performance by the rest of this program. So with all that being said, okay, I've been hearing that some Vol fans are selling their tickets. All right, I do not like that. I don't like that coming into this week because this is a week that our stadium and our crowd and our fans can play a big factor in us winning or losing this football game. They can play a big difference in us just losing barely and us getting blown out at home. That would be very embarrassing. So for those of y'all that are selling y'all's tickets and don't want to, be a part of this football team, that's perfectly fine. Sell them because really we'd much rather have some more passionate fans inside of Neyland on Saturday. But let's not sell the tickets to any Georgia fans. Like, I think that that's the least that y'all can do. Sell it to some guys that are Tennessee fans and give them a good price at it too, all right? Because honestly speaking, man, it's absolutely ridiculous to hear our fans on any level quitting on this team just because, we've had a couple of bad games. The season has not gone the way that any of us wanted to, but true fans support their team in good and in bad. Sometimes that does mean calling out coaches, calling out players, and, demanding that we do better. I have no problems with that. But if you're going to say, hey, I've already paid for these tickets, but I'm just not going to go. I've got a little bit of an issue with that. But, again, I'm fine with you allowing for some better Tennessee fans to get into that stadium because we're trying to break decibel records, all right? 125 is the record set at Neyland. It was set last year in that Alabama game. 147 is the record in football, period. That's the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. I say that we need to be shooting for that, okay? Like, that's a goal for us to start shooting towards. Let's shoot for that. We've got more fans inside of our stadium. They just seem like their fans must have been more passionate than ours have been. We've got to step it up. I think that there's a sense of urgency that everyone needs to start getting, especially on that football team, okay? Starting off with those coaches. All right, we cannot come out and, we cannot be lackadaisical. I don't know what that was that we did on Saturday, but we should never see that ever, ever, ever again with this university. So that's number one. Everyone's sense of urgency has got to step up big time, and that also includes our fan base. We're going to have to come into this game to prove a daggone point that we've got the best fans in the entire nation. Let's stop being so negative towards this team. That's fine if you want to be negative, but just keep that away from this channel. We're not going to be negative Nancy's all the time over here. We're going to call it like we see it, but we're still going to be optimistic, and we're going to look for ways that this football team can win. And if you're not with that, this is not going to be the channel for you. All right, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump to the film of Brock Bowers. All right, so on this first play, this is up against UT Martin. This is a goal line situation. This is Brock right here. What's going to happen is we're going to have him coming in motion, and the quarterback's going to handle the football right here, and he's just going to get out and beat the defense to the edge. Now, a couple of things that I want for you to pay attention to, okay? We're gonna probably talk about this several times throughout this film and throughout this week. This Georgia team is not going to do anything spectacular, okay? They're just not. Everything that they do is very easy to pick up on what they're doing, and pretty much what they're doing is they are saying, hey, we are more talented than you are. Can you stop it or not? Obviously, playing up against UT Martin, they're not going to be able to stop little stuff like this, but you can already see that Brock Bowers has got a slight lean. He's opened up his body this way, okay? He's already leaning this way. So whenever you see little things like that, okay, as a defense, you've got to be keying in on that. He's opened up because he's going to come here in motion, and we've got to be able to set a strong edge right here and force him to come back inside where all of our help should be. All right, so that is how this play should go if you're on defense. Let's go ahead and let it roll. All right, you can see him coming in motion right here. Ball is snapped. He gets it. Okay, so they do a good job kind of sealing this block off. This guy actually, you know, he's able to beat this block right here by the other tight end, and he's just not a good enough athlete to take a good angle. If you're going to come inside, you've got to replace back to the outside and set this wall up, okay? Make him come inside of you. He didn't do that, and then we've got, this is probably a safety or a corner secondary guy coming over to try to make this play. He just doesn't, I mean, look at his body language. It doesn't really look like he wants to get over there. Okay, now he's on his horse. I actually like that. He's on his horse at this point. He's got to beat this guy to the outside. Okay, this cornerback has got to beat Brock to the outside and shut him down. Now, we also see that there's nothing coming from the inside. This is a well-designed play up against a, you know, not very good team, and, you know, he tries to make a tackle. That's just not going to get it done. All right, so we've got Brock up top right here. What we're going to see is him come over in motion. So they do this a lot. He'll come over in motion and sometimes be a lead blocker up the field. But a lot of times, man, I'll just tell you this, whenever you see him coming in some sort of a motion, especially if he's motioning to the side with some more skilled players, understand that they're using these guys as decoys to run off all of the coverage and try to dump the football out in the flats and give Brock Bowers a lot of room to be able to operate. All right, let's go ahead and let it roll. Got him coming in motion. Okay, so he slows down, kind of squares up to this line of scrimmage. You're thinking, okay, this could be, you know, a power play right here with him as a lead blocker. But if you're on this side right here, okay, once he does come over, you cannot let anything cross your daggum face. Okay, so this is basic football. This is football 101. If you play with good fundamentals up against Georgia, you can beat him. Now look, this guy gets up this football field. Maybe maybe he's not supposed to be keying in on Brock. Maybe it's this guy, okay? Somebody's got to be keying on someone crossing their face. No one's doing it. So now look, Brock is wide open and all the coverage is ran off. He's got 10, 15 yards of green grass. Something else, just like a little wrinkle in this, is that this wide receiver kind of dumped off late to the inside. He would have been that second read right there, more than likely. But, you know, probably he's just a blocker. That's really what he's there for. He's really there just to set up blocks. So this is a poor job of blocking right here, but I think that's Ra Thomas. You know, can't block a UT Martin guy. And now we've got, you know, another UT Martin guy coming down the field. Does he want to make a tackle on Brock Bowers? No, probably not. Now, Brock is not a big guy. He's only 6'4", 240 pounds. That's not big for a tight end. He is, you know, again, he's a pretty good tight end. He can move pretty well. Is he a first-round draft pick? I just don't think that he is. Some people are saying that he's a guy that could be the highest tight end ever picked. Go back and look at Kyle Pitts, who was the highest tight end ever picked. The size difference, the speed difference, the I don't need other people to open things up for me difference that Kyle Pitts has over Brock Bowers is astounding. Brock Bowers is nowhere near that level. Now, again, he is a good tight end, but he is not. I mean, like, look, this is up against UT Martin, right? I mean, that's, you know, they're part of, you know, our school, but they are obviously our little brothers. So these guys are just not good enough athletes to be able to stop Brock. Something that we should definitely be able to do. We should be able to come up, make tackles on him, or stop him before he can get out into those flats. As y'all can see, you know, he's not doing a whole lot by himself. Things are set up for him to succeed in this offense. All right, so this is pretty much the exact same play. This is Brock Bowers right here. He's going to come over in motion, throttle it down right here, square up to the line, make it like he's going to block, and then he's just going to sneak out of the backfield right here to the flats. Again, you see that he is motioning towards who? Skill players, guys who can run everything off or set this little block up, set up a wall, get the football in Brock Bowers' hands and give him 15 to 20 yards to be able to make a play. Let's watch it roll. Here we go. Okay, this is almost like a pick play. Okay, this is a good job of him. This guy right here not engaging. He just kind of sets a wall up right here, and just look at all this space. I mean, he's got a whole lot of space. This is really easy pitch and catch. Just got to come up and make tackles. Again, if you're on the end of the line of scrimmage, if you're the edge guy, you cannot let this cross your face. If you let it cross your face, you're wrong. We're gonna have a long day. But again, that's just basic football fundamentals. And you see he's running through, again, it's UT Martin. It's running through these guys. All right, so now we've actually got a route with Brock Bowers going down the football field. This is a 1st and 10 situation, and he's going to run a little dig and just kind of sit it down in the soft spot in this zone. This looks like this is going to be like a cover 2. We've got a guy that's going to occupy this flat area and just try to open up this middle window for Carson Beck to make an easy pass right here. Let it roll. Yep, that looks like that could have been cover 2 or cover 4. All right, so you see he just kind of sits it down in the soft spot right there. Okay, that's what tight ends do. Okay, that's what you're going to see a lot from tight ends. And, that's a good job again by Brock just kind of running through those tackles. He is a guy that you've got to come and you've got to wrap him up. Okay, you have to wrap him up. Do I expect for him to do what he's doing up against UT Martin or on this one, what's going to be UAB to us? No. And I want for y'all to also kind of pay attention to some of these scores early on in these games. For those of y'all that feel like Tennessee just does not have an opportunity to win this game, keep in mind that Georgia has played close with UT Martin, UAB, and all these, much lesser teams. So, if we can expose them early on and turn it into a game from that perspective, we've got every single opportunity to win. But right here, we've got Brock playing like a wing right here on the outside at tight end. What's going to happen here is he's going to start off stock blocking, and he's going to have a couple of his linemen kind of get out in front for a screen. This is a goal line screen. They like to get the ball to Brock Bowers in these goal line situations. Boom, right there, you see he's kind of holding these guys up to give Carson Beck a little bit of extra time. Carson Beck's doing a good job of looking everything off, okay? These guys are getting up the field. Now look at this. We've got 1, 2, 3 guys that are pretty much blocking for Brock Bowers. He's going to get the ball again in space. All right, look at this. He's got a stud right here. Everyone else is flowed to the inside. This is very, very easy. Okay, this guy's not going to make this play. He's too slow. He's too far away, and he's got someone in his way. This guy's too slow. Okay, he's not going to get there. Right? That was easy. He goes in untouched. You can tell that a lot of those guys did not even want to get in on that play. We'll see it again from this angle. Pay attention. This is Brock right here. He's going to start off blocking. Well-designed play. I mean, it is a well-designed play. Now, ask yourself this. How many people on the face of this planet, how many able-bodied people would have trouble scoring on a play like this? Okay, I have trouble imagining even my, 2-year-old niece couldn't score on this. All right, all that space, all that room, and he's only got to go 10 yards. He pretty much walked into the end zone. Has not shown me anything special yet on this film. He is a good athlete, okay? He's versatile, but he's not a guy that I feel like we have got to dedicate everything to just try to stop him. Coach Banks has done too much of that and has gotten this team beat. We've got to play good, sound, fundamental defense, and we're seeing that, it's pretty obvious when they're going to him. We're already seeing these tendencies. We've only watched a few plays. All right, so this is going to be, this is Brock back here, I believe. He's just going to kind of flow out. He's going to have a guy kind of flow out with him as a lead blocker, and he's going to have a couple other people who can block for him, okay? So they're setting it up again to get down to the flats, right? They put him in the backfield. And I mean, obviously whenever they move him to spots like that, you should know, okay, the football's coming to him, all right? That's what I'm saying. This is almost like a, middle school offense where it's so obvious what they're doing. The question is, can you stop it? Now, they are very, very talented. And, we're seeing them do this exact same stuff that we saw them doing up against UT Martin and UAB, doing it up against Auburn. We know Auburn's not a great team, but they're a much better team. They're much better athletes. Look at the way that they're able to play this. This guy comes up, sets the edge. We've got a guy coming in here to fill. All right, it's not hard, guys. Like, this is basic, fundamental football stuff. All right, now look, can he make this guy miss in space? Probably not, okay? He's not... look at that. He's going to try to run through him, but he's not going up against UT Martin and UAB. So he's not just going to bulldoze and power through these guys that have a pulse, okay? Just come up and play sound fundamental football. That's it. And we can shut him down. We can slow him down enough where it's going to be a non-factor for this team. All right, so here we go again, right? Brock Bowers lined up at that wing position. We see that he's already opened up. We see him looking to the inside, right? So he's gonna kind of motion. He's gonna come back right here at fullback again. If he's in the backfield, high alert, high alert. It is very, very simple to stop what they're doing. This is not rocket science, guys. You don't have to be a genius to be able to figure this out. They're gonna give the football to Brock Bowers right here on a 3rd and short situation. Again, can you stop it, okay? This is not so much Brock Bowers as it is a ridiculously dominant offensive line, or, you know, maybe not ridiculously dominant, but they've got pretty much all these guys are 5 stars. Like, all these guys are the best in the entire country from a talent perspective. Whenever you've got people blocking for you like this, look at that. Some of these guys are getting pushed back, all right? I think, you know, I would call that poor coaching. Why are you getting pushed back this far, son, off of the snap? Problem is, he doesn't disengage and make this play. All right, so, you know, he probably got held. Anyway, look, we've got him slowed down right here. Make the tackle. Hold on to him. Pull him back. Have some fight about you. You got to, if Georgia likes to play bully ball, you've got to come out and they're going to try to punch you in the mouth. You've got to punch them back, dude. And you're going to have to keep on doing that. Once you do that, I promise you, they're going to, at some point, start to slow down. I've seen it. They start to slow down with teams that hit them back. Go up and start whacking them. Boom! Come up and smack somebody, baby. All right, so we're going to see it again from this angle. All right, for those of y'all that didn't know, that's Brock right there. Just wanted to make sure that I highlighted that. That's Brock. Okay, something else that I noticed right here is, I don't know if this was designed, it probably was, but this is very subtle, but Carson Beck, you know, he opens up to this side, which a lot of times the linebackers are going to read which direction the quarterback opens up to, because it can kind of, usually if they open up this way, then they're going to hand it off this way. If they open it up this way, then they're going to hand it off this way. So this is just another little subtle thing that, you know, Georgia did a good job of. But, you know, again, that's like old school stuff. He opens up this way and, you know, gets these linebackers, especially this guy right here, if this is a linebacker, just to kind of come over here for just a taste. And you can kind of already see, you know, I talked about this great offensive line that Georgia has, at least from a talent perspective. You see some of these guys kind of getting pushed around and getting pushed back. So, you know, these guys, they can be world beaters, but they don't play like it all the time. We've got to be able to make plays. So now, look, this is actually a good job by this guy. He kind of got pushed back, but, I mean, you know, does a good job of still standing in this guy's way. You've got to fight, man. You've got to be a fighter. You've got to fight through this stuff. And he pretty much just drags guys. Not quite sure what 30 was doing. I guess he said, you know what, I'm tired of this. You know, I'm tired of how physical these guys are playing. I'm going to tap out. That's the question. Who's going to tap out for Tennessee this weekend? Who's going to say, hey, they're too physical, coach. Get me out. Okay, that's fine. Get off the field, and guess what? Get off the damn team. I'm sick of this. We're not going to have 2 weeks of playing lackadaisical football. Let's come out and smack somebody in the dadgum mouth. All right, so we've got Brock right here, okay, in this situation. This wide receiver is going to come underneath him. He's going to go up the field and run a little dig route. Now, what you'll notice out of this coverage, and I'm not quite sure exactly what it is, but it seems like this guy is kind of manned up on Brock. So he's going to try to follow him. I mean, he does an awful job. He just gets turned around, and that's a very non-athletic play. It's not like Brock Bowers did anything to throw him off right there. He just is a non-athlete, and he gets turned all the way around and makes this pretty easy. But you're going to notice at the end of the day that Brock Bowers has 3 people around him. Look at this. So I think the part of it was he is still kind of playing zone. It's not really a man. He's kind of playing zone, but he's paying more attention to Brock, which probably would have, you know, been the correct thing to do. You kind of sink here because you can break up right here. All right. So it looks like he's playing like a curl to flat area. But right there, I mean, that right there was hideous. That's non-athletic. If you're, I mean, are you playing zone or are you playing man? This is what I was talking, you know, we've talked about this with Tennessee's players too. I don't really like our ends playing in coverage because you see stuff like this. I mean, you've got to be better than that. If you're playing zone, you keep your daggum face facing this way. You're looking at the quarterback. You've got to be able to feel people. You take a glance at him and you feel, okay, he's coming over this way. So you keep your face at the quarterback and you move here. If you do that, this could have been an interception, but it ends up being thrown behind Brock because I believe that there was a little bit of pressure on Carson Beck and that ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage. But you see how open Brock is and how much field he has. So, you know, we just got to make sure that we're mindful of things like that. Whenever we're playing these zones, they are going to find these soft spots in the zones and kind of get to them. And they do a really good job of executing on that for the most part. You know, biggest part of stopping Brock is going to be getting to Carson Beck. All right, so we've got Brock right here. I've seen this play a couple of times. Whenever you see him, you know, as the, you know, back guy on, you know, this trips look right here, okay? We used to call this the arrow. People call it different things. But whenever you see him back here, then, you know, you've got to know that more than likely this guy is going to be blocking, and possibly this guy too. What actually ends up happening is this guy kind of comes in motion and, you know, lightens it up that way. It tries to make it a 2-on-2 situation where you can block here, and, you know, you want for Brock to be able to win his one-on-one battle up the field. Let's go ahead and let it play. All right, you've got the motion, that quick motion. You know, again, things like this, they're faking this handoff. This is all eye candy. It's all window dressing. Let's get the linebackers to take a step right over here. We've got a lead blocker here. Okay, let's get the ball out to our guy quick. And, you know, hopefully he's got enough space now to at least get 5 to 10 yards. This isn't really a play that's designed to get a whole lot, but, you know, you can get a little something. You also have, you know, this is really a wide receiver screen. You've also got these guys all coming out. I mean, look at this. You know, look at this. Actually, this was designed to go a lot further. I misread that off of the first look, but look at this. He's got a convoy of people set up here to block for him. That's what they do, man. I mean, they set it up for him to succeed. And you see that that first block, the first couple of blocks was missed because they're playing up against teams with a pulse. So they're able to make plays, and that gets shut down. So we're seeing it again from this angle, right? Let's see what happens here. All right, this guy right here just wins. All right, you know, again, this is a little bit later on in the game. If you start to kind of play physical with these Georgia players, you start to realize, oh my gosh, they're not that physical. Okay, like they can be, but they don't play as physical once they get hit back. That's what we've got to do in this game. All right, so again, this right here is Carson Beck. Okay, he's playing on the line of scrimmage at tight end. This right here is the other tight end. You see that, I mean, you can tell whenever they're going to go in motion. I mean, they're just looking the whole daggone way. He's going to come over, then come back. That's the same look that we keep on seeing because they like to run out of this. This is a 2nd-and-1 situation. This is a good time to take a shot, right? This is a good time to take a shot. They're going to fake the handoff right here. Brock Bowers is going to kind of run like a little bender route. You know, maybe it's a little bit of a dig. He's going to get open right here in the middle of this football field because we've got linebackers that are biting up, which is pretty much what they have to do. This is on the safeties. They're going to have to do a better job in the middle of the football field. Hopefully, we will have something, you know, dialed up for this. We're going to see a lot of the same looks, guys. It's not like, you know, they're going to be very innovative with their play calling. This is old school football stuff. Now, this right here is embarrassing by this guy because you read this the entire way. I don't think anyone really bit on that run fake at all. You read this entire way. He is looking at the quarterback, but you've also got to sink, buddy. I mean, what are you doing here? You got to sink. This is poor fundamentals. You're sinking too late, and where are you even sinking to? You know what I mean? So, again, they just find the soft spot in that zone, and Brock Bowers has got plenty of room to be able to run. And he does. So we're going to see it again from this angle. All right, and they're kind of circling him. You can see it a lot better. You can see what's going on behind everything. This looks like this is cover 3. We've got this corner playing deep third. He's playing a deep third. He's playing a deep third. And it looks like this guy right here is playing maybe like a curl to flat, you know, something like that. And these guys are supposed to be playing more in this area. So I'm not quite sure, especially this guy. You know, this guy might be like curl to flat, but he should. Nobody's in the flat, so he's got to back up and kind of get more to the middle. This was just poor coverage in all honesty, right? That's just poor coverage, but, you know, things like that are going to happen. It's college football, and, you know, these are good athletes on both sides of the football. So they're going to make plays, but we've got to be able to minimize those types of plays. And again, if we're able to pick up on what they like to do this easily, right? And we've only watched 4, 5, 6 plays. We know that our football team that's going to watch a whole lot of film should know exactly what they're doing. Just come up and stop it. All right, so right here, okay, we're going to have Brock right there, okay? He's coming over in motion. What's he motioning to? Skill guys on the outside. So what are we looking for whenever we see that? The ball's coming to Brock Bowers, all right? That's who it's coming to. So he's going to come in motion, and one of these guys is going to kind of back off. I'm not sure which one it is. Somebody backs off. Somebody kind of runs up deep. Basically, what this is called is a flood concept. So we're going to flood and overload this zone area, and, you know, we're going to be able to sneak Brock Bowers in on a wheel. Let's kind of like let it roll, and I'll tell you what as it goes. Okay, so this is the guy that comes back. So he's occupying this flat area, which makes this cornerback come up, and then this wide receiver is going to run this guy off, and then Brock Bowers comes in right behind it and sits it down. All right, so again, they're setting things up for Brock Bowers to get wide open. He's wide open. Now, whose guy was this? Let's kind of go back. We see someone that looks like he's like, oh, shoot, I missed it. Okay, you don't let this guy cross your face. He's crossing your face. Somebody has to do something about it. All right, he's coming. He's coming. Who's going to come up and make a play? He's crossing our face right now, coach. We're outflanked. We're out leveraged. Somebody do something. I don't know who it is in y'all scheme, but somebody make a play. Come out here. It was this guy. It was him, or, you know, maybe it was him. All right, it was somebody. Yep. Look at this. Look at this guy right here. Okay, so again, guys, it's not rocket science, okay? They're not doing anything complicated. They're just not. Here we can see it again from this angle, right? This guy right here, 13, was the one. I don't know what he's doing or who he's looking at, but that's poor play. So, you know, I would really sincerely hope that our team's going to do a much better job of that. You cannot let Brock Bowers just cross your face and get wide open. Got to account for him on every single play. All right, so this is Brock right here, okay? He's going to run a deep out, and we're going to have this guy down at the bottom of the screen. He's going to run a deep go route, so he's running this coverage off, and, you know, we call this the chair combination. We've also got, I think this is Ladd. He's going to do like a little occupy the flat deal here. So basically, you know, they're going to have a guy come up, a guy go off, and then there's going to be a lot of open space right here for Brock Bowers, okay? This is all set up, all right? These are all set up. So, you know, based off of this coverage, I don't know what this guy was doing. I would love to understand this, because guess what? This guy's wide open. And we're going to see that again. He does have help over the top, but this is open. I mean, you can make this pass. He's wide open. So anyway, so, you know, we've got two guys occupying right here. And, you know, again, this looks like some sort of a weird bust in coverage. But, you know, Brock does a good job of getting up the field, okay? So, look, does he look super fast right here? No. Okay, he's not like, you know, he's not super fast by any means. But, you know, this is a good speed out. Does a good job making a catch, uses his hands well, and falls forward. Okay, so he is a good tight end. That's a good job. We're going to see it again. I just wanted to highlight this, right? So he's going, okay, it's taking him forever to get into his route. I mean, at this point, guys, we've got to have some type of pressure on Carson Wentz. There's no reason. That was 4, 5, 6 seconds that, you know, we should still not have any pressure on this quarterback at that point. And this is not max protection. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, 5, and okay, so we've got 6. All right, so they held one other person in to help them block. That's inexcusable. We've got to get some pressure. So anyway, take a look right here, though, guys. This guy's wide open. This was designed to go to Brock from Jump Street. Just got to do a better job of getting to the quarterback, okay? If it's us, we've got to get to the quarterback on some of these longer plays, and we've got to shut it down before they can get the ball down the field. If you give a quarterback that much time, people are going to be open everywhere. We saw we had at least 2 open on that play. All right, so we've got Brock right here. He's going to run a dig route. He's just going to, you know, same thing that we keep on seeing. He runs digs, he runs outs, and, you know, gets anywhere from probably like 10 to 15 yards down the football field and kind of sits it down in the soft spot of your zone defense. We've got a guy right here occupying the flat. Okay, so you kind of spread this defense out, kind of widen it out, and you have a big hole right here in the middle. Again, we've got to be able to get pass rush. We've got to do a good job of getting our hands up, and I think we're gonna see this one from a different angle, and I'll kind of show you what Georgia does in situations like this at the offensive line. But yeah, I mean, look, he's wide open. Okay, and I mean, that's a piss poor job of tackling. That is a, hey, you know what, the game is close, but you know, we didn't really expect to win this one anyway. So, you know what? Let's just let them score, guys. Let's just go ahead and let's just let them score. All right, so we're seeing it again that they're kind of talking about it here. All right, so, you know, again, we've got, you know, guys are occupied. We're doing things to occupy the people who are playing underneath, and he's able to just kind of sit this down. You know, that's just, you know, that's just, it's not even really a bust. This is just well executed, and we've got to be able to get pressure in situations like this. Middle of the field was wide open. Probably was a bust somewhere, I'm not sure. Okay, so now look, this is what I was talking about, right? This guy right here is in the middle of the football field. This is what I meant by we've got to be able to get our hands up. These guys on passes like this that we know is coming to the middle of the football field, we've got to get their hands down. Look at what this Georgia offensive lineman is doing to get this guy's hands down. I talked about this in the film last week. He's doing a good job of going low and making this guy get his hands down so that this guy right here can make this pass. And, you know, I mean, listen, guys, Georgia is a well-trained football team. They're going to play with phenomenal fundamentals, okay? Phenomenal fundamentals. You're not going to beat them because they play poorly. You're going to beat them because you out-schemed them and because you took it to them for 60 minutes. That's what we've got to do. All right, so right here we've got Brock, okay, goal line situation. It's 3rd and 7. He's going to do a little stick and nod. Okay, he's going to kind of, you know, break to the outside, make this linebacker or safety kind of bite here. And then this is going to be wide open right here, okay, in the middle of the end zone. So this is actually a pretty nice route by, you know, Brock. And actually, he just kind of throttled it down some, got this guy flat-footed. This is up against Ole Miss. That was his only touchdown. And it's pretty easy to see why they got beat. I mean, what in the world was that in coverage? That was piss poor. But, you know, that's a very well-executed play. So, you know, we just have to watch out for him in these situations. They like to go to him in the red zone. All right. And, you know, that's the first vertical pass that we've seen from him in the red zone on this film. But, that's pretty much it, man. We've got to play sound, fundamental football, and we should be fine. All right, so as we can see, Brock Bowers is a good tight end, but, it's very obvious when they're going to him. It's obvious, what plays they're going to be running, things like that. It's pretty much the exact same route combinations and concepts. I mean, it's not going to be some difficult thing to stop. You just have to play sound, fundamental football. If we are able to, in this short little film, if we're able to figure out and, be able to tell, hey, this is when the ball's coming to Brock, albeit, all of the highlights were of Brock, but you're seeing the same things in all of those plays. If we're able to get that figured out in this film, in this short little film session, don't you think that our players should know, when it's coming to him and, where the ball is going to be going? Of course they should. And of course, players have seen that and they have known that throughout this season. All right. I think that the biggest thing up against Georgia that people get scared is they say, oh, this is Georgia, so we kind of expect to lose. And that's a very, very real thing. They don't do anything particularly great. I mean, it's not a lot that you're seeing from them outside of them being super, super talented that you say, well, damn, they're really, really good at this. No, I just think that they're really solid at what they do. They're very disciplined. I can say that. They're very good with the fundamentals of the game. They are that for sure, okay? And they're going to play hard. But, again, if we come out and if we play hard too, then it's going to turn into a real game. And from that point, we can out-scheme them. We can out-coach them because they're not, doing anything that is, brand new to football. It's nothing that we haven't seen. It's nothing that you can't game plan for. So I fully expect, or, at least I fully hope for Coach Banks to come out and say, hey, we're just going to line up and play sound fundamental football. And if he does that, then we should be fine, as long as guys play hard. Now, I will say that Elijah Herring is a big question mark for me. He looked really slow last weekend. We probably need to put somebody else in there for him or just have him blitz all the time, kind of get him out of the way. P and I were kind of talking about almost playing like a 10-man defense and you don't even tell him what the play is because he kind of gets in our way if he's working to our scheme. He's just too slow. I'm just going to be honest with you. He's just way too slow. So hopefully, we can have something figured out for that portion of this game. Not sure what's going to happen with it, but, just from a sound fundamental perspective, we should be able to slow down what Brock Bowers likes to do. I mean, he's not the biggest, not the fastest, anything like that. He does have good hands. He runs, pretty good routes. He knows where to sit it down, things like that. He stays on the same page with Carson Beck. So, it's going to be a challenge, but it's not as tall of a challenge as a lot of people are trying to make it out to be. All right. So I hope that y'all enjoyed that video, enjoyed that film breakdown. We're going to have a lot more content coming out this week. Obviously P and I hate Georgia. So, we're going to be pretty much pointing out a whole lot of different things. So hope that y'all will stay tuned and keep on rocking with us and let's be more positive. Okay. Like let's go into this game with some type of optimism. All right. We do have a chance to win. We can play with these guys. Again, it's all about the fundamentals. Thank y'all. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks. Peace.